goddamn. I was going back and forth with a motherfucker on Reddit, which is, I'm almost ashamed to admit, there's a Reddit called Old School Cool. And Old School Cool makes me feel old as shit, because a lot of the stuff on Old School Cool is just the shit from when I was a kid. So it's very nostalgic for me. And somebody had put up a video of the Beastie Boys doing some live shit. And I'd made a simple comment that, you know what, even though the Beastie Boys get a lot of love, I feel that that they're still massively underrated. This fucking dude, my boy, what is this? Rodham Head, some shit like that, says, not underrated in the slightest. Literally the biggest selling rap group of all time. In the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, 7 platinum albums, and was the first rap album to top the Billboard 200. Their level of success / influence would be like calling Wu-Tang or NWA underrated. And that just annoyed the piss out of me, because all those numbers that my boy rattled off there, it's all true. It's absolutely true. The Beastie Boys are one of the most influential hip-hop acts of all time. They've sold the most records. They essentially got Def Jam started as a label with Rick Rubin. The Beastie Boys were highly, highly, highly influential.
There's no adequate measure for the impact that the Beastie Boys had on rap music and yours truly, Public Enemy, during our formative years.
And at certain points throughout the 80s and 90s, were one of the biggest acts in all of music. Fuck rock, hip hop, none of that shit. Like, just in terms of popular music, they were top dogs. But that's the thing. With all of that shit that my boy listed, all the sales, all the different trails that were blazed by the Beastie Boys, why in the fuck don't hip hop people know who the fuck the Beastie Boys are? And when I said that, the guy came back with like a whole other list of all this shit that the Beastie Boys, in terms of how much they've sold, and they were on this list and they were on that list. I'm not talking about critics. I'm not talking about sales from when they were an active group. I'm talking about right now, in 2023, a group that on paper should be regarded in the same vein as NWA or Wu-Tang or something like that. If you're coming out and saying that the Beastie Boys are held in that same regard as NWA or Wu-Tang, you're fucking lying to yourself, dude. If you took 100 random motherfuckers and under 35, because really at this point, that's the only motherfuckers who are keeping the Beastie Boys alive, are dickheads like me, middle-aged rock and roll fans. Because we all loved, who didn't love the fucking Beastie Boys that came up in the 90s? If you got any of the Beastie Boy albums of the 90s, like Check Your Head, Ill Communication, there were always like cool punk songs on there, fucking instrumentals, jazzy shit. The Beastie Boys would show you a little bit of everything. Just total fucking geniuses, those guys. And the fact that they've done so much. And if you took 100 random people of varying ethnicities and backgrounds and all that shit that identify as hip hop fans, and you were to say, name a Beastie Boys song, or show them a picture of the Beastie Boys and say, hey, do you know who this is? I would bet my every last dollar, and I would bet you that less than 15% of that group would know who the fuck the Beastie Boys were. And this dude just kept running off fucking stats and stats and stats. That's how everybody argues now. Everything is internet stat fights and shit like that, like it's sports. This isn't sports. I'm talking about a vibe, basically. Yes, the Beastie Boys were huge. Not that they were never given their props. They were absolutely given their props. But why, with all of that, here in 2023, why does nobody know who the fuck they were? Like, that's one of my favorite shits to watch on YouTube. I love watching young hip-hop fans react to seeing and hearing the Beastie Boys for the first time. Motherfuckers always love it, and they will inevitably say, holy shit, this is great. How come I've never heard of these guys before?
These are some talented white boys. Hey, this is real hip-hop right here.
These guys MCing. There's a difference between MCing and rapping, I think.
They were rapping, man. They're spitting.
This is what hip hop is missing. No females in the back, no jewelry, no egos, no nothing. Just pureness.
Everything genuine. They feeding off each other, back vocals off each other live. This is a music video and they recording that joint live. He mixing live. Like this is.
I think it's on us to teach the kids. Put that shit out there. You know, you go walking around the mall. I see t-shirts with Old Dirty Bastard. I see t-shirts with Notorious Big. Why aren't there any fucking R.I.P. MCA shirts? Fucking shirt with Mike D with that thick ass rope chain. Where is it? That's what I'm saying. We need to get that shit out there. Put the Beastie Boys back out front, motherfucker. Anyways, moving on.